Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today I wanted to talk about the Second Life Resource Drive event, give you guys some suggestions, and give my feedback to CIG about how they could kind of make this event better. Now, I'm here on Houston in the rain with the Stance of Max right behind me because I thought it would be a cool place to start this video. This is going to be primarily a talking video, so you can listen to it like a podcast. But if you want to watch it, I'll just have some of my gameplay footage running in the background. Now, with all that being said, let's get right into this video. So, for starters, people have been pretty cool at this event so far, helping out others and even leaving Argo atlases around the pickup sites for people to use to move cargo. And I think it's because the cargo is tied so heavily towards the missions. I had a situation where someone sent down my mission cargo and tried to bring up theirs, and it seemed like it broke the elevator. So I don't know if that could be one of the issues. But the bugs with the elevators are them showing a message where it's essentially saying that it's overweight. It is coming up with invisible cargo, and the screen is kind of loading forever if you try and look at it. So the first fix for the long loading screen is you can kind of just back away, exit out of the screen, and go and try to use it again. That usually fixes the issue, and many people have said that they've had success doing that. Now, to fix the invisible cargo is a little bit more complicated, and not every fix for this bug works in the same way. All right, so to fix this issue, you can put a small or medium item on the cargo elevator. Some people have found success with the max lift tractor beam and the Argo Atlas. I haven't had any success with the Argo Atlas. It says that the Argo Atlas is obstructing the elevator. So sometimes the elevator will say that this item that you put on it is obstructing the elevator, and other times it won't. It depends on how the bug is. But when you send it down and it comes back up, the cargo might show up. Just don't forget to remove the item, or else the elevator might break again. Alternatively, if there's no one else at the outpost, you can just fly away and the location might reset after a few minutes or something like that. And then you can kind of just go back and try the elevator again. Now, if the elevator says that it's overweight, you can right click the cargo that you want to send up on the elevator and split it up so it's small enough for the elevator to not show you that message. Now, it seems like the bug that causes this issue is the same as the invisible cargo. The elevator is basically saying it's overweight because there's still cargo there. It's just invisible. Those are kind of the primary, workarounds with the elevators. Now, I kind of want to talk a little bit about missions. Now, if your intro mission fails for whatever reason, you can kind of just abandon it and take it again. It seems like there's no penalty for doing that as far as I can see. And all the intro missions pay above 100K. So I would try to do all of those first. Strangely enough, though, the intro missions seem to be some of the hardest missions because they're at the same locations as the larger missions with all of the broken elevators. And they really count very little towards your overall progression. So I kind of want to talk about the progression as well. The goals are 85 SU for Tier 1, 311 SU for Tier 2, 777 SU for Tier 3, 582 SU for Tier 4, and 2,826 SU for Tier 5. You don't really have to remember any of these numbers. They'll show up in your journal, but I kind of just wanted to let you guys know the range because of my suggestions on how to do the event, basically, right? So my suggestion would be to kind of go for Tier 2 rewards for all 4 planets rather than trying to go for Tier 4 for just one corporation, because mathematically Going for tier 2 for all 4 planets is only 1244 SU, while tier 4 for one corporation is 1582. So it's significantly more just to get to tier 4 for one corporation than it would be to go for tier 2 for all 4 corporations. So basically, you can deliver less cargo for more rewards. But if you really want, that tier 4 reward for one corporation, right, then it would kind of make sense to prioritize that. Just kind of know that you'll be hauling more cargo for those rewards rather than going for tier 2. Now, some other things you could do if you're sick of the elevators. Now, I've seen some pretty good videos by other content creators that kind of go over all this other stuff. So I'll leave their videos linked in the video description below so you guys can check those out as well. But you can do HRTs and VHRTs in Pyro. It seems like CIG has nerfed the mats in most of these ships, but you can still find decent amounts of them in 3 ships: the Cutlass Black, the Caterpillar, and the Freelancer Max. You can also find them by doing bounties in Stanton with the same 3 ships. The Bounty Hunters Guild missions by kind of luring them into space. So also, karma rays are either bugged or the ability to disable them was turned off by CIG for the event, which kind of makes sense, probably to protect outposts from griefing. But Vaughn targets also have the event-related mats, so you can steal the Polaris by using a bike or something like that to get some of those. Now, I kind of want to talk about my suggestions for CIG about the event and kind of how to make it a little bit better. And then, of course, at the end of the video, I will, give you guys my impressions of the event, what I like about it, etc. So many people have already said this, but CIG should allow the Lagrange point stations to be pickup sites as well. Lagrange point stations have instance hangars, so that would be hugely beneficial for people, who would be in line, and it would also kind of spread out the amount of locations that players could go to. We have 600 player silvers right now, and there are roughly, I think it's something like 100 or 200 outposts. So by using the Lagrange point stations, CIG would have a lot more to work with when it comes to the pickup locations. The second thing is, like I said before, the intro missions share the same locations as the normal missions. So the next suggestion I would make to CIG would be to split up the intro mission locations and the normal mission locations. If the elevators are kind of breaking or getting overloaded by having too much cargo on them, then it would also break the intro missions. So by having the intro missions at separate locations, those elevators will never bring up more than 3 SCU of cargo, and you won't have to worry about them breaking, and everyone will be able to start the content. So yeah, I think they should really just split up the intro mission locations from the normal mission locations. Second thing is they should try to increase the cargo size. Now, right now, I think the max size cargo that you find in these missions is 16 SU, and that kind of makes it take a bit longer to load up the cargo. I think one of the reasons why they might not have did this was because using 32 SU boxes might have broke the elevators faster in their internal testing. So maybe they had, people testing the game do these missions with 32 SU boxes, and the elevators broke pretty quickly. So they released the patch into PTU with the 16 SU boxes, and it, to them, it would have made it seem like the elevators didn't break as fast in PTU, which it still kind of did. But then when it went to live, the problem was even worse. But if they split up the pickup locations, you would have less players using them and less likely chance of them breaking. So if you had players going to the Lagrange point stations, then the elevators at the outposts won't break as fast, so you could increase the cargo size. This should also lower the amount of cargo for tier 4 and tier 5, in my personal opinion, because it would make mathematically more sense to finish one corporation first rather than doing all four corporations, right? Like I said earlier in my suggestions, I suggest personally going for tier 2 for all corporations because you'll end up getting more rewards uh, by delivering less cargo than going for tier 4 for one corporation, unless you really want the tier 3 and tier 4 rewards for that specific corporation. And at the end of the day, it's a competition between the corporations. So if you make it mathematically more viable to finish one corporation first, then more players will go ahead and do that. Um, the last thing I would say is that they should put a reset timer on the elevators. So if they get overloaded or if they get bugs, the cleanup system will clear them maybe after 5 minutes. Based on what I've seen personally, loading up the elevators and watching other people load, I haven't seen anyone take longer than 5 minutes to load up the cargo, even with the larger cargo amounts. And if CIG made the cargo quantities larger, like using 32 SU boxes, people would be able to complete the missions faster, right? They wouldn't be at an outpost location for 5, 10, 15 minutes loading up cargo. If they could move 32 SU boxes, it would only take them 5 minutes and they would clear off the elevator, and the elevator would have less issues with all these different cargo box sizes. So again, uh, I want to say my experience with the event has been pretty interesting. I've basically experienced just about everything that everybody has been saying has been happening with the event. I've experienced people helping with my cargo. I've experienced people leaving Argo Atlases at the location. There are a lot of abandoned ships around the location, probably because of the elevators bugging out and them just getting frustrated and deciding to log out. Now if you bedlock at these locations, I guess their intention is to come back to that location when the servers are better or something like that. um Realistically, the boxes can get bugged out if they're left around the location site. And I don't know, maybe having so many assets, different ships at the location, it's a lot for the location to stream in and out of. So just having a lot of ships parked there might bug it out. So uh, my suggestion for people, logging out in frustration is to, move your ship out into space before you log out. That way, the location stays a little bit cleaner to kind of prevent this location from bugging out or anything like that. But again, generally, I think players have been very helpful. Players have been very nice, and it's good to see this event feels like an MMO. That is the one good thing that I have to say from playing this event. Players are working together. Players are, working towards a shared goal. You can see the progression in your journal when you open it up. I think that what this event kind of shows this community and me personally is that if this community has a shared goal, something that they have to work towards together, we will do that. This community is not afraid of grinding. I know it seems like nobody in the Star Citizen community wants to grind for rewards. I don't think that's true. This event kind of proves to CIG that this player base is more than willing to grind for rewards and gear and different things. And I do think that's a good thing to encourage CIG to put more earnable rewards in the game. Now, these earnable rewards are tied to your account, so they stay forever. And that is kind of one of the downsides with having an alpha or a game in alpha for so long, is that when you do content, it's hard to inject progression because then there's going to be a wipe in the next patch or whatever. But if you're doing an event with timed rewards, then people really have this goal to work together towards. And it's a really good thing. Again, it feels like an MMO. We have 600 player servers. There's a lot of locations to go to. This is content. I do like to see it, and the rewards are pretty cool. Now, uh, I think lastly, the thing I would kind of say, if CIG is planning to do this event again or another event like this, is I do think they should make it a little bit longer. This year, CIG has been doing a lot of events, and a lot of content, but they're really fast. And the reality is this player base is older. We're all adults. We all have jobs. We all have families. We all have real lives. And a lot of us are too busy to log in and play a lot. So I feel like what's happening with a lot of players is they've been kind of burnt or jaded with a lot of the other content that has come into the game this year, and they feel like they've missed out on those previous rewards. So with this event, it's something that they can do, and something that a lot of the players like doing. A huge percentage of this player base likes doing non-combat stuff, and they want content that is non-combat related, content that they can get into and spend some time and get that actually get done and accomplished if they're not good at PvP. But it kind of, again, the issue is they might not have that much time in their real life. So the patch went live on the weekend, and just about everybody who owns this game tried to jump in and do as much as they can so they don't feel like they're missing out on those rewards. And I feel like what people are going to do is, again, continue to rush the event, rush the content. Every single time I've seen somebody at an outpost, they have been rushing. They have been going as fast as they humanly can to go. And the thing is, there are so many mechanics in this game that slows you down. Uh, I tried to start this event with the Stance Max, as you guys saw in the beginning of the video, but just running around that ship took so long. It was very frustrating to be efficient at this event. So far, the ships that are the most efficient, in my opinion, are the Raft and the Asgard. Because with the Asgard, you could use the Atlas and kind of just stand on the ramp. The benefit with the Asgard is that the ceiling height is so high that you can use the Atlas inside the Asgard, because the Atlas holds the cargo box above it every time it uses it, which, I mean, is a potentially good thing and bad thing. It's neither here nor there, but the problem is many ships are not designed for that to be done. Like the Starlancer. The Starlancer Max ceiling height is way too low to use the Atlas inside the cargo bay. So ships like the Asgard are kind of perfect for the Atlas, and the Raft is good because it has that built-in tractor beam. You don't even really need an Atlas to load it and unload it. But yeah, CIG, in my opinion, they just need to spread out the event. Now, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. MMOs have been doing this for ages, where they have a 3-month season. They do this because it gives people enough time to do the content. 1 month or one patch cycle, in my personal opinion, is not enough time. Again, we're adults, we have lives, we have jobs. You guys kind of seen me with this channel. I didn't post a video Sunday or Monday because I've been trying to do the event and get this information together for you guys to make this video today. So I've been playing over the weekend to try to put this video together and get you guys that content. But essentially, I've played this event and I've gone to about tier 3 with Hurston and Microtech. Well, no, with Microtech, Hurston, I'm still at tier 2. And I've in the 2 days that I've played, in a single day, I've literally played for 8 hours straight. Played, I've had, in in this event, I've had longer play sessions than I've ever had playing this game. So I guess that's another kudos I want to give to CIG, is that this event, I've only had one server kind of crash, and other than that, I've just been playing to my heart's content. And Is Star Citizen playable right now? I would say yes, it is playable, but the issue is that with missions, with content, there are still a lot of bugs. And in my personal opinion, I think that comes from them kind of trying to do too much or kind of, spread themselves thin. The last thing is with the other missions. Now, this is something that I obviously didn't talk about yet, but a lot of players have not been getting the other missions. The other missions are essentially where you can defend an NPC against pirates trying to take their cargo, and their cargo will count towards your progression, or you can kind of go and investigate a site that has been attacked and reclaim that cargo, or you can do actual FPS combat on the ground at bunkers and get small amounts of cargo that way. None of those missions have been really showing up for anybody else. I don't know what's going on with them. I don't know if one of the fixes that CIG pushed kind of broke all those other missions, but obviously if those missions worked and people were able to take them, that would alleviate some of the strain on the cargo missions for the people who like combat or doing other things. Personally, I'm not a combat player, but I like doing the AI missions, especially space combat stuff. So I would have loved to try and defend an AI ship from pirates attacking their cargo. And then all that cargo, depending on how big the ship is with your reputation or whatever, would count towards your progression. And that would help a lot of people progress a lot faster. So obviously, if CIG could, I would also tell them to fix that and get those missions working, because that would obviously make this event way better. And obviously, CIG could also split it up, right? You don't have to try to force all that content into one phase of the event. There have been other phased event like Xenothreat and Capture the Idris where they did the event in phases. So they could do this event in phases as well, where the first phase is go to these outposts and do the cargo. The second phase is kind of like help AI cargo running ships defend against pirates. So it's a little bit more space combat. And the last phase could be, okay, the corporations are desperate now. They need these resources any way they can. So they kind of tell the player base to go out there and mine and salvage and fight and get these commodities any way they can, right? So by kind of splitting it up like that, you have 1 month of one kind of content, another month of another kind, and a final month of the final kind to kind of spread out what the player base is doing. But you have those full 3 months to do all of them. So if you haven't finished the first phase yet, you have the full 3 months to finish the first phase. But it unlocks for people who are getting bored of running cargo or doing space combat missions. Again, that's my suggestions to both you guys and CIG. I want to know what your thoughts is about the event in the comments down below. You guys know I love talking to you guys, and this event is kind of the event that I was anticipating the most excited about this event, because you guys know I like cargo hauling and salvage and that type of stuff. And I think this is the step in the right direction for CIG and the content in this game. If CIG can roll out this kind of content so fast, in my personal opinion, it only benefits them to kind of slow down, give the developers more time to test this stuff. On a 3 month basis, while one event is running, they could be working on another event, another thing, and that will make the kind of seasonal cycle more sustainable. Again, when this game comes out to 1.0, I kind of imagine events like these happening on a regular basis, and I don't want CIG to put themselves on such a fast release cadence that they can't squash these bugs or they can't release a more polished experience, because that's just going to drive players away, right? But if they have a slow release cadence, if the devs aren't kind of overworked and they have enough time to make these events the best that they can be, I think people are going to go crazy for Star Citizen. Like, there's been so many people playing this event. It's really great to see how active the community is with this event. And it, to me, it kind of just paints a picture of what this game could be. The lore is good. I like this idea of, you know, the regen crisis. I think the writers that work at CIG that, you know, make the content for Star Citizen, it's different than any other space game. It's not just generic space game number 3, right? Star Citizen is its own game. It has its own lore, backstory, and getting the players involved in the in-game lore kind of makes people feel more attached to the game. It's something that's more tangible, that's going to make them be like, okay, I like this universe. I want to be in this universe. This is my home. Like people like WoW, they want to exist in that universe. People like Final Fantasy 14, they like the story. They want to exist in that universe. It's the same thing with Star Citizen. If the writers can tie in the story with the content, players will feel that connection to the universe and they'll just want to exist in the universe, right? People love Crusader because of the lore, the floating city, how beautiful it is. And so they would just want to be on that planet. They want to be in the game, bugs and all. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this event. But that's gonna be it for me in this video. Thanks for hanging out with me again. I love all the support you guys have been showing on the videos. It really means a lot to me that you guys watch them all the way through, like and comment. But like I always say, at the end of these videos, you guys, like the video if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Salut!